This streamer is now facing prison work camp sentence in Japan. Remember we watched the other video of this about the guy who was a dick to the Japanese people and was super racist and did a lot of fucked up shit in Japan. This is I guess this is part 2. I guess he did get a sentence in Japan.
Once upon a time, a complete moron IRL streamer thought it was a good idea to go to Japan and essentially just harass the Japanese people for content. And eventually that backfired tremendously, as the most recent update to this is he's facing being sentenced to a prison work camp to pay off the damages that he's done in Japan. So he's slowly just becoming the textbook definition of F around and find out. And the TLDR of what led him here is he went viral for screaming at Japanese commuters in the subway that America was gonna drop nukes on them again. And that got so bad that another American had to go up and stop him out of secondhand embarrassment.
Hey, how many subs you have?
Bro, I'm at 1,000 subs right now.
Nice.
Cool. Sit down, brother. Enjoy.
Then he frequently tried to pick up women, but when he was being denied, he started cussing them out.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Japanese? Japanese, both. Okay. No. Oh, they're scared. Look. Okay, no, I don't show you. Oh, man, these are too scared. Japanese? They be showing there's too much filter.
He continuously harassed people for days until people just got fed up.
If the police tell me to stop, I will stop. If the police tell me to stop, I will stop. You are not police.
So he got punched in the face randomly dozens of times by strangers. Like, dude became infamous in Japan in just a few days. People showed up to his Airbnb to confront him.
Is he dumb?
Can we talk? We don't need to fight, you know? Why use words? Let's use words. We're not here to fight. They don't understand?
He was forced to do some sort of traditional Japanese apology, but he just made an absolute joke out of that, which made things even worse for himself.
People of Japan, Paul Denino, Ice Poseidon, everybody. Sticks to the track.
So then he ended up fleeing Japan. And because he...
Okay. Why do people they get so much attention? Because his audience is full of teenagers. And teenagers enjoy this type of stuff. Stop making stupid people famous. Exactly. Exactly. He also went around calling... Yeah, he did that too. We watched that in the first video. We watched the first videos where we watched him get like decked in the face and knocked out. He wanted views and ruined his whole life. Yeah. Hexy, go to Japan? I do want to go to Japan. I want to eat my way through Japan. I want to eat everything that I possibly can in Japan. I want to start from the top and go right to the bottom. Eat everything. Everything. I mean food, right?
He thought he was safe, he then started to taunt the Japanese people, saying, hey, look, nothing happened to me. Well, clearly he's no scientist, but his next move made me realize, oh, his IQ is probably lower than the average person's shoe size, because he returned to Japan just a month later. And did he act normal? No. He made everything way worse for himself, because he continued to live stream himself, repeatedly breaking the laws. Then, deja vu, he started getting punched multiple times all over again. He was then finally arrested for trespassing, then released from jail, then arrested again for a completely different charge. He also apparently brought his friend the second time he went to Japan, and that friend got arrested as well. And unfortunately for him, he live streamed everything he did there, and Japanese broadcasting laws, they can be extremely strict. My understanding is he can actually be sued for broadcasting from businesses without their consent. So it's safe to say that things are looking terrible for the streamer Johnny Somali, and I didn't realize how bad things were for him until a viewer from Japan actually reached out to me and explained, hey, you English speakers have missed a lot of the key details here. So my response was, please enlighten me. What are we missing to the situation? So he explained to me that Johnny is not only just facing prison time, but also a decent amount of monetary cost and potentially a long time in custody before even being charged with anything. He explains that Johnny can be held for 28 days on the original charge, which is apparently 48 hours for the original hold, plus 24 hours to ask for an extension, plus an additional 10-day extension, plus another 10-day extension, and then an additional 5-day extension detention on top of that if needed. However, he was released without indictment and then arrested again on a new charge. So his detention time will now be reset for an additional 28 days. Repeated arrests can result in indefinite detention before formal charge before his court. If they find more charges to arrest him for, they can hold him for however long they want before they indict him with crimes. It's likely they're going to keep releasing and rearresting him to continue to hold him indefinitely while they gather evidence. Johnny really effed around and found out in the wrong country. And unfortunately for him, I mean, he streamed every single day of just him repeatedly committing crimes. So it's like they'll just go through all of his VODs and charge him with every single time he committed a crime. So he can actually be in detention for a while. But he goes on to explain regarding the other charges, investigating him for entering places without permission, such as kitchens of restaurants, but may also be investigating the live broadcast portion because of Japan's strict privacy laws. This got him in trouble on his last visit to Japan with streaming on the train. It's not a criminal offense to photograph or film in public places, but it can be a civil offense if people find out their likeliness was published. But if he was in a private space like a restaurant, then it can be an issue. He said that he will not speak without a lawyer. He can have a consular representative available to help him understand what is happening and direct him to resources to help him. But because these are considered minor charges under Japanese law, he's not entitled to a court-appointed lawyer until his indictment before the court. Since he can be detained indefinitely while they add more charges, it may be a while before he gets a lawyer unless he privately hires a lawyer. He must pay out of pocket for a private lawyer, which is formally charged before the court. He can get a court-appointed lawyer, and if they do not speak English, a court-appointed translator. Most of the time, they're paid for by the court, but if he gets a judge that does not like him or upsets the judge can make him pay for the court-appointed lawyer and translator as well. He then went on to say there's been a few cases where a sincere apology and an offer of payment to victims of the crime have led to release, but he doesn't think this will be the case in the situation given the previous apologies and the continued behavior. Apparently 75% of the cases are dropped before getting to trial, so it's a possibility of it being dropped, but in this case he has already overstayed his visa and then will get rearrested for that as well. So Johnny is currently stuck between a rock and a hard place no matter what happens here. If he's found guilty, he apparently has two options for sentence. The first is a suspended sentence, which is the most likely. He does not go to jail, but must not commit another crime in Japan for a certain number of years. He will also
Wait. So, because he got arrested, then held, most likely arrested again after being released, his visa timed out. So now he's gonna get arrested for that too. Oh man, this guy really fucked up. Oh my goodness, he's not gonna make it out alive. Yeah, I don't think I wonder, do they have the same thing? If somebody gets arrested, right? They could lose their life in prison if they meet with another person that doesn't like them, or they could have assassinations. Does that happen in the Japanese jail? Yeah, because I hear there's a rumor that the gang members that are in prison are looking for him. He's probably gonna be super rich if he goes to jail. Why? Why would he be rich? If anything, I'm pretty sure the Japanese courts are gonna make him pay for everything. People are gonna throw money at him? I don't know. Maybe. Well, apparently his followers are making fun of him, so I don't know. They like to see him getting all of this shit because it's funny to them. They all left his Discord. They all were making fun of him and stuff, so I don't know. America is big on paying people for being stupid. True.
Also have to pay fines and compensation. The second option is that he goes to jail, in which case he will serve a prison term with hard labor. Prisoners may receive partial credit for the time served prior to conviction, but this is determined by a judge and not guaranteed. There's a small wage for the hard labor, which is usually used to pay off any fines and compensation requirements. He'll be subject to deportation upon release due to overstay. He is expected to pay for his own deportation. If he cannot pay for his own flight, he will then be detained at the deportation center until he can receive enough financial assistance to pay for the flight. And anyway, he will have to pay money for his own defense and exit from the country. And then on top of that, he likely has to pay for fines and potential victim compensation. But he also goes on to say that if Johnny does get prison time, it's going to be very hard. The current belief is that he will not get jail time, so he cannot claim to be a victim when he's released. But right now, he says that he'll likely continue to get rearrested over and over again while they find charges against him and hold him as long as they can. So, I mean, if anything, this should be a massive wake-up call for tourists and other content content creators wanting to do content like this, when you're visiting somewhere, respect the culture and just follow the rules. It's really not that hard. And especially for my fellow Americans out there, we don't have the same rights in foreign countries.
That's so
just
true.
put it out there.
Everybody, oh my God. That is, I don't understand why it is so hard for people to understand that when you go to another country, you don't have the same rights as you do in your home country. You know, you are visiting a different country, you don't have the same rights. Like, I don't get why that is so hard to understand. Probably a good chunk of his viewers were hate viewers anyway. True. Yeah. That is right. People like to hate watch. How dare you ask for people to be decent? Some people think the USA government will do anything to save them, like send in the SEAL. Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, unless you're somebody big in the US government, and even then, I doubt they would come to save you. Like, you are nothing to the government. Why would you think the government would come save you? Like, what? If anything, the American government will look at this and be like, yeah, we don't claim him. Yeah, we don't claim him. You can have him.
So Johnny spent months monetizing himself, harassed people, and he's now facing repercussions. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like influencers have learned from this at all, because now there's a new influencer incident that I'll be covering in a future video. And I also noticed this comment on my last video that said, I work in Japan in media and previously advertising. Japanese law is technically very strict about obtaining rights to film. Filming inside a private establishment without consent is illegal, and even filming outside without blurring out passerbys and advertisements is also technically illegal. 99.999% of the time, they won't bother enforcing it. But it's something they can legally wave at you if they're after you for whatever reason. It's why the Fast and Furious 3 specifically hired a fall guy to get arrested to film the iconic Shibuya crossing scene. The police can keep tacking on more charges. It's a matter of how much they want to pile on until the prosecution is satisfied with the level of punishment. Police are super nice in Japan. Drunks routinely jeer at them with zero repercussion. But if you fall on their bad side, you're really screwed. Well, apparently, if we've learned anything from this series, it is don't F around in Japan. But if Johnny does indeed end up in some prison work camp, that'll definitely be a very unexpected outcome, because just like 6 weeks ago, we thought he was going to get away with all of this and not even be punished. But whatever happens, I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
That's the video. Hey, I'm gonna hire you to get arrested so we can film here. I know. Just don't be a dick. Like, how is that so hard for some people to understand? Just don't be a dick.